It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. A very happy Friday to you. We're so glad that you joined us. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning, I'm Philip Simon. End of another week here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, TGIF.
I cannot believe it. I clicked on our Zoom meeting today. Our producer always sends it to us with the date of the show. And I said, today is September 24th, which of course makes sense. Before we go any further, wishing a very special happy birthday to Mommy's favorite girl in the whole wide world, my firstborn, my beautiful daughter, Cairo Aria, who celebrates on Sunday, the 26th. And so I knew that date was coming in theory, and that this princess was going to be 4, which is how the time flies. But, you know, I could not, when I saw the 24th, I'm like, it's Christmas. Where in the world of the year? Like, it was just the 1st of September. We were just talking about going back to school, and now it's the 24th already.
That's amazing. You can't, listen, enjoy it. Time flies. She is quite a character, just a beautiful, amazing little girl. Happy birthday, Cairo. I can't imagine, how she's gonna, be feeling. And obviously we know she runs the household.
She does. Like, it's evidently clear. And, I don't even try to fight it anymore because she's just in charge.
Is it deja vu?
It is, because people would tell you how you were as a child to them. Obviously, as the child's living this experience, that's not what you see or believe. Yeah. But having met my daughter, I can truly say that everything that people have said about me all along has been very true. And I sincerely appreciate every adult that has ever allowed me into that space because, precocious.
Absolutely. Listen, confession is good for the soul. But we also had an appointments week, right? Filled with, I don't know if you call it drama. I mean, I'm not terribly surprised by the appointments and the names that we saw this week. I think the Senate is just the last bit to go, right?
I think the Senate is the last bit to go. And well, not the last bit to go, but the last bit to go that we will see before they return to Parliament on October 6th. What will happen sometime over the next 2 to 3 months, of course, is the naming of boards, of government boards that, of course, support the mandate of the government. And so that will happen as well. But that won't be with as much ceremony, pomp and pageantry as we've seen over this past week. And it certainly will certainly come out in the papers. And so those will be the last appointments. But until that time, yes, we're looking forward to seeing which additional senators are called. Of course, we know Michael Halkitis has been named. I'm sorry, we have to put respect on these names now. So the Honorable Michael Halkitis has been named to the Senate. And there was another one as well.
Yeah, I don't recall.
A lot. A long week.
But listen, work continues. It's a new day every single day here on Bahamas at Sunrise. We've got another great show lined up once again. The Ministry of Education is back. I've been loving these conversations. Today, we're going to be talking about student services and development, and we'll hear from the Cleveland Clinic. Actually, I think I have a physical that's coming up. Anyway, about the strength of the vaccine in combating COVID.
Looking forward to both of those conversations. We're also going to be talking with speakers who are coming up to be talking with the Financial Voice for World Tourism Day. And Michael Diggiss will also join us to talk about Expo 2020 in Dubai. Now, you might remember, Phil, that earlier this week, we should have had that Demystifying COVID webinar, but it's been postponed until Wednesday, September 29th. And doctors and various community leaders will break down the facts about the disease and vaccine. And you can sign up to attend on Zoom.
All right.
And now,
well, hey, I guess I'll be there, right? This is an interesting one. Whenever Dr. Diggiss is around and speaking. Godfrey Burnside is going to give us our first look at weather. It's been kind of up and down, right? The rain, and I mean, about a week now.
Yeah, but I see that there's some sort of storm brewing in the Atlantic. And so looking forward to hearing what Godfrey's going to say. Here he is now with our first look at weather.
Yeah.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Star and Phil, and good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at sunrise, we have a foul trough across Central Florida, will move southward and stall across Grand Bahama, Abercrombie, Bimini by Saturday, generating occasional periods of showers and thunderstorms. One of those showers will become heavy at times, and so the thunderstorms strong to severe. We have high pressure across the central southeastern islands, and that's going to trigger a good weekend, partly sunny skies through the weekend. For the most part today, variable cloudiness, hot and humid over the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny and hot over the central southeastern islands. We can expect a few showers, isolated thunderstorms. One or two may be coming heavy at times. Those showers, those thunderstorms severe at times. High temperature 91, heat index 104. Partly cloudy and warm tonight with a few showers, isolated thunderstorms. The low temperature going under 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 90 and 79. In Jamaica, 87 and 76. In Trinidad, 89 and 78. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 90 and 74. Across North America, Atlanta, 73 and 52. In Raleigh, 74 and 54. In Miami, 89 and 76. Dallas, Texas, 87 and 60. And Toronto, Canada, 63 and 57. As we go to the weekend, troughing across the islands of the northwest Bahamas will cause a mix of sun and clouds, still hot, still humid, with showers and thunderstorms. Those showers may become heavy at times, thunderstorms severe at times. Temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s daytime, and the mid-70s at nighttime. That's what you're up in your first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Are Mrs. Cylestina Cooper-Williams, Education Officer, Student Services, and Dwayne Higgins, Coordinator, Student Development. Good morning. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
All right. Some might call this the fun part of education, but to me, I think it was all fun back in school. But hey, your department, Mrs. Williams, focuses on after school. I mean, sometimes kids just can't wait for this part of the day. Give us an idea of the scope of activities that are covered.
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for having us on the show. So we have a number of programs, extracurricular programs that are hosted after school, and they range from artistic in terms of the essay poetry competitions. We have the beautification program, the Minister's Beautification Program, which allows children to beautify a certain portion of their school, create a garden. So they have a starting progress of it. And then we also have national debate competitions, spelling bee competitions. And for those persons who may be struggling academically, there is the literacy and numeracy remediation program. In addition to that, we have other programs such as the Student Christian Movement at the primary level. And of course, you can't forget our sporting programs.
All right, all right. Dwayne, when we talk about at-risk students, your job, some might say, might be challenging, but it's also an opportunity. Give us an idea of the scope.
Is that a question for me or for Mr. Higgins?
Mr. Higgins, within your department.
Yes. One of the things that we have been, the Ministry of Education has provided opportunities for students, those who may not be so comfortable in the conventional environment, find themselves having to be suspended from schools. So what we have done is we have made sure that there are 8 suspension centers that are located throughout New Providence. And I can list those being Bethel Baptist at Hope Center, Living Waters Kingdom Ministries, Camp Road Ministries, Church of God, Bernard Road, Church of God, Coconut Grove, Christ Community Church, and Abundant Life Church. These are strategically placed throughout the island so that if students find themselves on the wrong side of education, there are adults who are able to supervise, who are able to ensure that there's a safe environment, that there are opportunities for them to continue their education. In this virtual learning environment, we've made them care centers. So if persons find themselves not with electricity at home or they don't have the internet, those locations have those. It's available, so parents are able to utilize our services. We are readily available to any and everybody who we can assist. We also have something working in Harbor Island. That's the only location outside of New Providence that we're operating, and that's through the Vision Disciple Center. We also have affiliating with pastors. We have something that's going on right now with Salem Union Baptist Church, Pastor Yuda Roll. There's a lot of stuff that we try from my section to support students. That's the main thing, supporting them and also supporting their families.
It's been a pretty dynamic environment over the last year and a half, and dealing with the ups and downs of COVID and the different protocols and the openings and the closings. And how has, Mrs. Williams, how has your department handled these challenges or opportunities, either way we look at it? And certainly right now, I can't remember, whether or not, you're in school for a week or you're out of school for a week, but what has been the adjustments that have to be made?
Well, Simon, we've definitely had to, as while education is paramount, safety is also very important. And so for a number of the programs that we've had to make some modifications. So just in the same way that schools had to be done virtually, and in some cases hybrid, many of our programs had to with the times. And so in terms of the national debate competition, that program was done hybrid, as well as in some cases. And so that's where the adjustment had to be made. The same thing for our National Art Enrichment Program. When we first started, everything had to be done virtually. But luckily for our summer program that was just recently hosted, we were able to do that face-to-face. But even with the face-to-face, a number of the health protocols had to be adhered to, because we want our children at all times. We want them to enjoy themselves. We want them to learn extra skills, but we want them to remain safe. And so those are the adjustments that we've had to make.
Same question for you, Mr. Higgins. In addition to that, the adjustments that would have had to be made during COVID, I believe you also have a partnership with BTVI.
Yes. What we have done is everything basically had to become virtual. From our section, for students directly, we had a mentoring program, one that we were able to, as opposed to having it done face-to-face, it was simply set up on a virtual platform. And also our parenting sessions, we also did that virtually. We have been working with BTVI also. They have a course, it's the NCCER certification. Fortunately, that program can be done solely at the core level. That can be done virtually. So we have been reaching out to schools, high schools, in particular grade 12, but more so grades 10, 11, and 12, the senior students who are able to, once again, take advantage, although it's COVID, although school is disrupted, there's still opportunities for them through that BTVI platform. And then there are other opportunities that are unfolding. And as they unfold, we try to tap, make students aware through their schools, trying to get them involved and engaged.
All right. Final question, Mrs. Williams. We talk about these extracurricular activities. Sometimes it can be viewed as separate and apart from the whole learning process, but it's an integral part of how we educate our children. How important are these extracurricular activities to students, and how does it enhance overall learning?
Well, I'd like to say that, first of all, we are not operating separate and apart. Everything that we are doing is enhancing what our counterparts within the school systems are already doing. So our programs it's just an arm of what is already being done. So we are enhancing the curricula. We are enhancing the skills that are already being taught. So, for example, for the art program, you have students who are learning artistic skills, but when they come to our programs, those skills are honed even more so that they learn environment, and that pushes them a lot further. And so that is what we are all about.
All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Cylestina Cooper-Williams, Education Officer, Student Services, Ministry of Education, and Mr. Dwayne Higgins, Coordinator of Student Development. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
First, it's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties, whatever they may be. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. The following segment is an excerpt from Doctors Hospital One-on-One, conversations between Dr. Charles Diggiss and Dr. Richard Rothman, the Regional Institute Chair of the Hospital of Medicine at Cleveland Clinic. They discuss COVID-19, the virus, the variants, and the vaccine. Here it is now.
Doctors Hospital President and CEO Dr. Charles Diggiss sat down with Dr. Richard Rothman of the Cleveland Clinic, who explained that vaccination is the best way to mitigate the new surge of COVID.
I'll share with you some of our experiences here within the Cleveland Clinic, Florida, over the past few months, and they're not so dissimilar to yours. In early July 2021, we had 36 patients hospitalized across Cleveland Clinic, Florida, a hospital system with more than 1,000 beds. Within 6 weeks, we had nearly 400. That's a 700% increase in COVID cases within 6 weeks. 40% of our hospital was occupied by patients with COVID. Of those patients, 87% of them were unvaccinated. This surge was unlike any other. It came on rapidly, and it was a punch in the gut to the healthcare system. The reason for these differences from previous surges is this Delta variant, right? And this Delta variant is transmitted at a rate that far surpasses the ancestral variant or the first variant of COVID that all of us experienced. To put that into perspective for our viewers who are familiar with chickenpox and flu, the only virus in the last 100 years that spreads faster than the Delta variant of the coronavirus is measles. How do we prevent measles today? We vaccinate against it. Guess what the second most transmittable virus we have today is? It's the chickenpox. How do we prevent the chickenpox today? We vaccinate against it. I could go on, but the answers are not dissimilar. The only way to mitigate the spread of deadly viruses that spread at a rate far greater than anything we have experienced before is through mitigation strategies, which include vaccination.
As we both come off this particular peak or wave or surge, what should we anticipate if a significant number of our population gets vaccinated? And as we say in the Bahamas, you know, Bahamians actually behave themselves and comply with the mitigation essentials like masking indoors and maintaining the physical distancing, etc. If that indeed is the case, because, you know, COVID and COVID care exhaustion and fatigue is at an all-time high. So what does that future or natural history look like? What's likely to be the next few months or years of COVID looking like?
So it's a great question, and it dovetails into the question around, does vaccination prevent disease or does it mitigate the severity of the disease, right? And I think that will tell the story of what happens next. And number one, with 500,000 doses of Pfizer in the Bahamas, and countries around the globe trying to get their hands on the mRNA vaccine, this is a great opportunity to get everybody vaccinated, number one. Number two, vaccine prevents severe illness. And while it may be difficult for us to completely eradicate the coronavirus that causes COVID, we can certainly mitigate it, right? And so by all of us getting vaccinated, this turns into a bad cold.
Yeah.
The transmission goes down. And suddenly we're not talking about COVID anymore. We get our vaccine and we can get back to our normal lives.
Yeah. No, I like that because
and I think that's what do you think, Dr. Diggiss? I think that's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, I completely agree because, you know, in as much as, you know, our private health systems enjoy the business, this is not the business that we want. This is an extremely avoidable situation, and we're beginning to see needless deaths. And so, yeah, I absolutely believe that if it's a matter of living with COVID, and admissions to emergency rooms in a hospital see a diagnosis of the flu or respiratory illness, undefined or non-specified, etc. And then COVID becomes one of the determinants after the fact. And that's only 10, maybe 15% seasonally of what we see. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So I want to move then into the relationship between the Pfizer vaccines, which we have 500,000 and reducing, fortunately, and the Delta variant. And maybe this is opportune for you to enlighten our listeners that we have a winning formula here. A raging Delta variant and the Pfizer vaccine. What needs to happen?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, number one, the shots need to go into arms, and in order for vaccines to work, there is one thing that has to happen, and that's individuals need to get them, right? And so as we look at the number one, 500,000 Pfizer vaccines, that's a big win for the Bahamas, procuring that at a time where many countries are really trying their hardest to get that. And the reason that the Pfizer vaccine has become so popular is because of its efficacy at preventing severe illness and death from COVID, Delta variant, right? And so the Pfizer vaccine in studies in Europe, Canada, and Israel has been shown to be more than 90% effective at preventing individuals from getting hospitalized or dying from COVID if they have been vaccinated, right? And so, in other words, am I saying that if you get the vaccine, you probably won't die, we probably won't see you in the hospital? Yes, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Is the vaccine safe amongst 150 million people? It is safe. And again, I can't say this enough. It's an opportunity for us to turn this pandemic into something that is manageable and allows us to go back to live our daily lives. This Delta variant is scary. And without vaccination, I don't see this ending anytime soon.
Yeah, Delta variant is killing. And it's really a punch to the gut of the healthcare system, utilizing resources that we will no longer have for non-COVID issues. And I know I mentioned earlier, this deferred and delayed care, you know, we're going to see not just a wave of COVID, we're going to see a wave of increased morbidity and mortality from non-communicable diseases, etc. The things that we would have otherwise been treating. And so I think I want to just echo, the vaccines are here, the shots, they got to get into arms, and the Delta variant is raging. It is taking a significant toll. So let's just focus and get the vaccination done and get us to the point where we're truly living and working with COVID as we live and work with the flu.
For Bahamas at Sunrise, this is Suzette Parker.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jazriel Thompson.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bonham.
Hi, I'm Dr. Therese Nairn Knowles. I'm fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
And I'm fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
I'm fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. Are you?
Are you?
Are you?
Kidnap with the Bahamas as we recreate our islands in the form of a pavilion, showcasing everything our country has to offer, from culinary arts and storytelling to business investments and sustainability. Connect with the world, tell our country's story, explore our future possibilities, and help us transform the Bahamas.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise on this fabulous Friday. I'm Anastasia Palacios. Thank you for staying with us.
I'm Philip Simon. Happy to be here. Star.
It's been a great morning so far, Phil. Great conversation you've had with the Ministry of Education.
Yeah, I really love talking to educators, biasly so. Good morning, Mom. How are you? They are at the heart of who we are. I mean, literally, who we are, how we learn, what we learn. So very important people in the entire world.
I believe so. I believe so wholeheartedly. No, I really do. Like, they teach everyone. Like, we cannot function without them. We learn to read. We like every necessity, every skill that we have, teachers instill it. And so always good to be able to celebrate them and honor them. Wish we could pay them more. Of course, I'm not responsible for any of that stuff, so it's way above my pay grade as well. But at least we get to have them on the show, and that's always a blessing. We've got more to come in the second half for you as well. We're going to be talking to some of the speakers from the upcoming Financial Voice World Tourism Day webinar.
We've got Michael Diggiss, who joined us to talk about Expo 2020 happening in Dubai next month. Yeah, it's 2020, but it's 2021. It's in COVID challenges. But listen, let's take a second look now with weather at sunrise with the G-Man, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather at sunrise, we take a look around the tropics. We have Hurricane Sam this morning, and at 5 a.m., Hurricane Sam was located near latitude 11.5 degrees north, longitude 42.2 degrees west, some 1,470 miles southeast of the northern Leeward Islands. Max sustained winds are 75 miles per hour, is moving towards the west at 50 miles per hour. Sam has become a major hurricane by Sunday. Then we're watching an area of showers and thunderstorms a couple hundred miles east of Bermuda. This system has a 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 5 days. And then the remnants of Odette, about 600 miles west-northwest of the westernmost Azores, has a 40% chance of regeneration over the next 5 days. And then a tropical wave expected to move off the west coast of Africa by the end of the weekend. This system has a 40% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 4 days. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 4 days. On the local scene, frontal trough across central Florida will move south and stall across Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini by Saturday, generating occasional periods of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those showers becoming heavier times, so thunderstorms are there. And we do expect a high pressure crossing the central hours, and that's pretty well. So a pretty good weekend, partly sunny skies with a couple of showers through the weekend. In your marine forecast, throughout the weekend, those ones be variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet, but we can have some swells up to 5 feet up into tomorrow. Your tides, you can expect a high tide at 10:43 this morning. Next low tide will be at 5:04 this evening. High gain tonight at 10:58. Sunset, 7:02 this evening, rising at 7 a.m., UV index 9, your water temperature is 83 degrees Fahrenheit, honeymoon phase, full moon, extended look that frost stores across the extreme northwest Bahamas, but will trickle off some showers and thunderstorms across the islands. So look at a mix of sun and clouds, still hot and humid. The temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s daytime and the mid-70s at nighttime. That puts a wrap on your file. Look at the weather at sunrise. I'm glad to go inside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. World Tourism Day is observed every 27th of September. The Consuls Limited is hosting the Financial Voice webinar on Monday with the topic, Rebuilding Tourism in a Safe, Equitable, Climate-Friendly Way. Here to discuss this morning with us, we have none other than Carrie Fountain, Executive Director of the Bahamas Out Island Promotion Board, and Shana Lee, Managing Director, KPMG Advisory Services. It's been a long time for both of these individuals. Good seeing you.
Nice to see you.
Good seeing you. Thanks for having us.
Carrie, you will be moderating this panel this coming Monday as Executive Director of the Out Island Promotion Board, Rebuilding Tourism in a Safe, Equitable, Climate-Friendly Way. Why do we need to do that? Why was that chosen as the subject?
Well, the quick answer to that question, why should we rebuild tourism in a safe, equitable, and climate-friendly way? Number one, our visitor prospects will seek out competitive destinations if we don't provide safety. And if our visitors are not coming, then we're not going to get the foreign direct investors. And if we don't have investors in the business, not just foreign, but if we don't have investors in the business, then we're not going to have jobs. So that's one of the quick answers as far as safety is concerned. Equitable, Bahamians and residents will continue to feel sidelined, Phil. That is, if they're not getting the same concessions as foreign direct investors. So whatever it is that we're giving the foreign direct investors, we have to consider giving it also to Bahamian investors. And also, if we're interested in developing Auckland or Ragged Island or Crooked Island, some of the more southerly islands, then the concessions have to be attractive. It cannot be the same type of concessions that you're giving somebody or an investor in Nassau, because Nassau, in terms of tourism, is really more further down the line in terms of development. And last but not least, in terms of moving forward in a climate-friendly way, the number one reason why folks come to the Bahamas is because of our beaches and aquamarine waters. If we continue down the path that we're now on in terms of global warming, our beaches will be eroded. And if our beaches are eroded, then why are they coming to the Bahamas? They're not coming to the Bahamas to go to the Louvre Museum. Before I just wrap up, when we talk about safety today, of course, the number one thing is COVID-19. And we must continue, our population must continue to get vaccinated. We must continue, or we must start testing more frequently, not just to travel, but also to go to work. And if the government and the government cannot or is unwilling to mandate taking the vaccine, then I fully agree that we need to provide free testing. And then on and on, wear your mask, practice social distancing, avoid crowds, and sanitize.
That's a mouthful, Carrie. I guess you can almost summarize that by saying, listen, business has changed, right? Even in the midst of this, there is probably a slim possibility that we're going to go back to what we used to be pre-COVID and certainly pre-2020. Shana, your company advises clients on global trends, and I can only imagine the amount of study and the amount of work that it's been happening. What trends have you been seeing, particularly as it relates to travel?
Well, good morning, Philip, and thanks for having us. So at KPMG, we're seeing that COVID is going to continue to shape traveler behavior for years to come, whether that be in the form of regulations that limit the functional ability to travel, whether it's at the place of origin, the destination, or at some point in between. Also, the pandemic's economic impact on individuals and families is certainly impacting the demand for travel. And then safety, as Carrie mentioned, a traveler's own sense of personal safety is really a significant driver when it comes to choosing whether to travel right now. That said, travel to the Bahamas is starting to increase. Stopover arrivals through July are up about 27% compared to the same period last year. And a lot of the most significant growth figures are being seen in the Family Islands. Make no mistake, it's still very early days when it comes to recovery, but it's definitely trending in the right direction.
So what do you, okay, that's great to hear, particularly for the Bahamas, but what are some of the consumer preferences now for travel and tourism directly? And do you think that travelers are now willing to spend more money or less money depending on where they go in light of COVID-19?
Yeah, those are great questions. So, there have definitely been preferences and trends that have been emerging, both related to the pandemic and not. To start, since this pandemic started, 18 months ago, a lot of us have spent a lot of time focusing on our own physical and mental health. And so there's an increasing opportunity for wellness-based travel options, whether it's self-care retreats or spas or travel that involves physical activity. Our yoga retreat here on PI is a really great example of how that can be done. Also, the increase in workforce flexibility and the ability to work from anywhere is impacting the way that travelers choose to go. And so a lot of people are taking longer holidays than they may have done in the past, or even up to a year with the introduction of remote work visas like the BEATS program that we have here in the Bahamas. Yeah. And then the final one that I'll mention is, even predating the pandemic, there's been a greater focus on the natural world and sustainability issues. And more consumers are considering sustainability and business practices when choosing where to spend their dollars. And so ecotourism is expected to grow and expand and is a significant area for opportunity. It asked about spending. Obviously spending really dramatically declined during the pandemic between lockdown measures and just economic uncertainty. But consumer optimism is coming back up again, and more consumers are indicating that they expect their personal spending to get back to pre-pandemic levels within a year or two. And discretionary spending, such as tourism, is an area that's expected to increase the most.
Yeah, and Phil, what we're hearing from our partners at like Expedia and travel on TripAdvisor.com, there is this new term called revenge travel. Like Shanna was saying, folks haven't been traveling for quite a while, like they're used to. And hopefully they're still working and making and saving money. And so what we're seeing now is really the needle is moving in the direction of luxury travel, luxury hotels. You only live once. People are being reminded of that every day when we hear the negative side of COVID. You never know when it can impact me. And so you know what? If I'm only going to live once, then revenge travel, I'm going for that luxury hotel and I'm staying in that suite that I always wanted to stay and with my wife. And the implications are too, as far as safety is concerned, what should our hotels be doing? Our hotels, I know it's an expensive undertaking, but they must ensure that their staff, if they're not vaccinated, they're being tested at least every 14 days. Also, as you all know, the United States just reopened Europe to incoming so people now can travel from Europe to the United States. You have to be fully vaccinated. So that whole market is reopening. But as you all know, this situation is very fluid. And so our hotels, they have to also be flexible in terms of offering cancellation policies that are consumer friendly. So it's not just a matter of, okay, and then when you come to a hotel, you have to see somebody, like I stayed last week at the British Colonial. You have to see somebody greeting you at the door with a thermometer, go over here and do your hand sanitizing. While it may seem as though it's a hassle, it makes me feel safe.
And in addition to that, in addition to making you feel safe, I would imagine it impacts your choice in travel, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to now be looking, if I'm coming to the Bahamas, we have this certification now called Clean and Pristine. I'm going to be looking for that if I'm staying at that hotel. If I'm going to be going diving, or if I'm going to be going deep sea fishing or fly fishing, I am going to make sure I'm looking for that safe seal of approval that's offered by the Tourism Development Corporation.
Okay. Shane, I'm going to give you the last question here. Related to the vaccine in particular, the United States would have obviously made their announcement this week. What do you anticipate to be the impact of that? Globally speaking, but in particular reference to our tourism product?
So I think, as vaccinations increase, consumer confidence or just safety, the sense of personal safety is going to increase. And I think it's going to make people more comfortable and willing to travel. And so, I think that only bodes well for us as the Bahamas.
All right, great, good stuff. All right, so the webinar is this coming Monday, September 27th at 11 a.m. There's still time to register to attend. It's the Financial Voice World Tourism Day. We have with us this morning Shana Lee. She will be a speaker along with Carlos Palacios, Janet Johnson, Dr. Charles Diggiss, Kerry. Shana, thank you so much for being here on Bahamas at Sunrise.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right.
See you on Monday, Shana.
All right. Enjoy it.
And register at tclevents.com. Watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Doctors Hospital is proud to introduce the Loyalty Advantage Membership Program, or LAMP. LAMP offers medical service discounts to new and existing Doctors Hospital patients. With membership starting as low as $20 per month, LAMP benefits include fee waivers for insured patients, discounts on inpatient and outpatient services, access to free imaging services, and much more. For a full list of benefits or to sign up for LAMP, visit doctorshos.com/LAMP. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth?
Have you heard about Trinity Christian Schools?
We are a family school located on Trinity Way, Stapleton Gardens. We offer quality Christian education from preschool to grade 6. Here are the reasons why you should choose Trinity Christian Schools.
We offer quality Christian education. We are a family school. Our teachers provide individual support. Our class sizes are small. We offer a safe and happy environment.
Our teachers are caring and experienced.
Join the Trinity family.
We want you to be a part of the Trinity Christian Schools.
Come join us.
We want you to be a part of our family.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. World Expos have provided a platform to showcase the greatest innovations that have shaped the world we live in today. Expo 2020, postponed from last year to next month, will continue the tradition with 192 nations displaying unique architecture, culture, and inspiring innovations. Here to talk with us about this, we're very happy to welcome Michael Diggiss. He's the project manager of the Bahamian Pavilion at Expo 2020 and an architect. Mr. Diggiss, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Such an exciting time. I remember being really excited about Expo 2020 coming, wondering what it would look like, and hearing that we were going to be featured in spectacular style. And so I'm glad that you're here to share that with our audience today. Can you talk to me about the idea behind Expo 2020 and what happens there?
Sure. So first of all, the image behind me is the image of the Bahamas Pavilion. So that gives you a bit of a context in terms of what we're going to showcase in Dubai. But the Expo as you know, similar to the Olympics, every 5 years, a host country gets an opportunity to display world innovation and technology. You know, and people sometimes don't realize, like the Eiffel Tower and even the ketchup was actually showcased at an expo. So this particular expo was the bid was won by the UAE, and Dubai was led the charge to put it on. And I will tell you, it's an amazing country if you've never been. You know, 6 years ago, the expo site was a desert, literally a desert. And now, you know, it's opening a brand new city. Just to give you a sense of the scale of this city, it's twice the size of Paradise Island. So in 5 years, they built a city out of the sand. And now they're ready to showcase it to the world. And what is also interesting about Dubai is they believe in legacy. So once the expo is ended, the expo site becomes their new city 2020. So now it now has a new focus for them as a country. Business and commerce will be the focus of this new city that is actually physically located between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So for those of you geography lessons, you know, it's kind of strategically placed between two of the major emirates within the UAE.
Yes, I've actually had the privilege of going to Dubai. Blew my mind in 2017 when I did go. My favorite city in the world for many of the same reasons, that somebody would just have a vision one day that we're going to build something out of the sand, and look at what has emerged. And my husband, who, as you know, is an engineer, worked on the World, which is another one of those Dubai islands that they've made. And so we just absolutely love this magical place, is what I call it, because you get to see so much come up out of the ground. For us here in the Bahamas, of course, our pavilion is kind of the same thing. We took something that is our nation and put it into a format for world travelers to see and to experience us. What does that look like for us in the Bahamas? What did we feature? Was there food? Was there art? Was there literature? And is there a theme surrounding what our pavilion looks like?
Right. So the Bahamas decided as a focus, because the overarching theme of the expo is connecting minds to create a future, with 3 sub-themes: mobility, sustainability, and opportunity. So the Bahamas decided that it's going to place itself in the sustainability quadrant. And because we felt that that was the greatest message or story we need to tell. The fact that we are a small island state, but yet with all of our challenges through hurricanes and global warming, and now the world's facing, you know, this COVID challenge, we still are a resilient people. And so sustainability seems to be in our blood, in our DNA, you know. And so we really want to tell the story about how we are survivors no matter what challenges we tend to face. In fact, we were going to downplay the Hurricane Dorian, and the expo organizers said to us, no, you need to tell that story. Like, how does a country that is apological kind of in its geography, how does it survive? Because most people thought when Hurricane Dorian hit us that the Bahamas was basically wipe off the earth. When people don't realize that we have a series of islands, so maybe one island may be affected, but the Bahamas in its entirety still survives. So it's that story we want to tell. It's also the story about, you know, what opportunities exist in the Bahamas, because that part of the world is seeking investment in this part of the world. You know, and so we really want to have Bahamians understand and realize that, you know, here are investment opportunities. So even products and services that we have to offer, we can now expand and extend it to other regions, and particularly the UAE, in terms of, you know, diversification and expansion of ideas, because they're really all about ideas and how you showcase your ideas to create opportunities and innovation and new industries. So that's what we hope to achieve by being there. You know, you have to be present. 192 countries decided, in spite of COVID, they are going to show up, and they're going to show the world what they are, what they offer. And so we felt the Bahamas should be part of that.
Okay. So you talk about COVID, and I'm sure that is a concern with 192 countries being present in the same space. Has the COVID regulations, protocols that we've been seeing put in place around the world changed at all for Expo 2021? Well, 2020?
Yeah, actually, again, this is what's so fascinating about Dubai, and you've had a bit of exposure. So they took this challenge of a world pandemic and turned it into a world opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So they have actually challenged countries and industries and businesses to come up with innovative solutions on how to address pandemics. And they have very strict protocols in place. I mean, they are very clear in terms of those of us who go there to work within the expo have to be vaccinated. That's not even a debate. If you're not vaccinated, you have to be prepared to be tested on a regular basis. They have introduced technology for tracing and monitoring of individuals who come onto the site. Even from the time you hit the airport, they're tracking and monitoring your temperature, and if you need to be isolated, they will isolate you. If you need to be treated, they will treat you. They're one of the countries, I believe they're up to about 70% vaccinated population. I mean, it's incredible how they've turned this challenge into an opportunity for them to showcase to the world that you don't have to be, kind of affected adversely by a particular challenge without seeing the opportunities that exist around it. So that's what I'm all excited about, that Dubai is actually, they've always claimed it. We're going to be number one. We're going to be the best. And I think that's a message for us. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a message for us in the Bahamas.
Indeed.
That we need to declare that. I will tell you, they've made a declaration that they're going to be number one in tourism.
Oh, wow. Well, we have to do something about that, indeed.
Well, I will tell you, if we don't, we will recognize that tourism doesn't belong to the Bahamas. So they built the largest shopping center in the world, and I'm sure you've been there.
Indeed.
Right? And the Dubai Mall actually attracts 5 million visits a year.
Wow.
That's more.
Now, Mr. Diggiss, but before you go, we'd love to just know, how was UB involved in this project?
Right. So we started off with UB because they believe in engaging the young people, because this whole expo, the average age of the people working and managing the expo is probably in their 30s. Mm-hmm. So we felt then that UB had to be engaged. So the students participated in this whole process of the design of the interior of the pavilion. We actually have Val Flax from the university along with Namiko Miller. They're both already on the ground, putting the final touches to our display within the pavilion. So yeah, it's been a wonderful kind of partnership between the Bahamas Pavilion, UB, and the government of Bahamas and private sector. So we do have private sector involvement as well.
Excellent. Well, the expo happens from October to March next year. And so, of course, we encourage Bahamians, if they have the opportunity to get to Dubai to see the World Expo, and we congratulate you and your team on all the work that you're doing, and looking forward to some great opportunities. You mentioned investment, etc., coming back to the Bahamas as a result of this. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Bahamas at Sunrise. We certainly hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And of course, we'll be back with more next week.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.